Good morning, everyone. Standing Committee on Regulations and Private Bills will now come to order. We're here for public hearings on Bill 16, an act to amend the Animals for Research Act and the Dog Owners Liability Act with respect to pit bulls.
My name is Sarah Dan. 7 years ago, I presented to you. 7 years ago, I was part of what Michael Bryant himself declared an unprecedented 4 days of hearings in response to the then proposed pit bull ban, courtesy of the Liberal government of Ontario. 7 years ago, all the experts that presented spoke against a pit bull ban. 7 years ago, the Liberal government ignored the experts and passed the pit bull ban anyway. 7 years ago, the Liberal government ignored the many citizens, including myself, who spoke before their committees, ignored the facts, and passed the pit bull ban anyway. In so doing, they ignored democracy. 7 years ago, the Liberal government passed the pit bull ban and displayed disrespect, not only for pit bulls, but also for those who spoke, disrespect for democracy, disrespect for the citizens of Ontario, and disrespect for the truth. 7 years later, my hope is that this committee will have the courage, the decency, the common sense, and the respect for the truth and for democracy to right this wrong that was done in 2005 when the pit bull ban was passed. They say, as you probably know, that the truth will set you free. My hope is that this committee will set the tens of thousands of people who you condemned with the pit bull ban and their dogs free.
My name is Michael Howie. I'm a reporter with North Oakville Today newspaper. Members of the committee, I am not an expert in canine behavior, genetics, or breed. I am a journalist, and it is regarding the media's role in the initiating of the breed-specific legislation that I will be speaking. In 2004, Mr. Michael Bryant stood up in the legislature and read excerpts from news articles. He used these to portray what appeared to be an alarming trend and voiced a call for action. While I believe Mr. Bryant had his constituents' best interests at heart, as most politicians do, the very basis of his arguments had a major flaw: the reliability of the media. Reporters are skilled storytellers. They find facts, research issues, and consult experts. They present information in a complete package and provide readers a non-biased view of an event. Unfortunately, it isn't always that simple. In a 24-hour news cycle, there isn't always time for experts. Background information can be scarce, and the glory of a front-page headline can overtake a journalist's moral obligations. Either intentionally or unintentionally, they use fear to generate interest and bring attention to a story. Dr. Shelley Alexander at the University of Calgary conducted a media content analysis study and showed just how biased journalists can be when they write about animals. Utilizing over 200 articles on the subject of urban coyotes, Dr. Alexander grouped the descriptors used when humans kill coyotes and when coyotes kill pets. When humans kill coyotes, the common descriptors were killed, euthanized, put down, and removed. Very simple and fact-based terms. When coyotes kill pets, the common descriptors were brazen, brutal, marauding, and an unreported plague. These descriptions do not provide more insight. They provide fear, and journalists will grab onto fear and push it.
You've hit on a number of very key and important elements in this whole pit bull saga, and that is that it was driven by hysteria within the media and without facts, truth, and objective analysis of what actually was going on. So you followed this, obviously, back in 2004 and 2005. I'm not sure if you followed it with Bill 16 in our debates, but maybe if you might share with us, I view that we still saw an element of that hysteria and the absence of fact or objective analysis during some of the debates when it was referred to as these horrific, murderous, marauding animals that would tear off the genitalia of people during debates. I don't know if you watched that debate, and if you have, if you could maybe expand on it a little bit.
I think anyone who is in the business of communicating will default to visuals. As I said, decriminalization is an exceptionally powerful tool, and I believe that in debate in the legislature in 2004, 2005, and more recently, as well as the media, that was seized upon. It was pushing a purpose, which was we are afraid and we have to do something to protect ourselves against this perceived threats.
My name is Dr. Dale Scott with the Ontario Veterinary Medical Association, and with me today is Mr. Doug Raven, CEO of the OVMA. Veterinarians are trained to take a science-based approach to any issue, including aggressive behavior by dogs towards humans and other animals. As such, OVMA has conducted a thorough review of the available research on dog bites and the use of breed-based bans to curb dog attacks. Breed-specific dog bans are not an effective way to deal with dangerous dogs in Ontario, specifically because research shows that numerous breeds are reported each year in attack and fatality reports. A 1996 study of James Bandow, the then General Manager of the Animal Control Services of the City of Toronto, found that dog bites in the city were reported for more than 20 breeds and crossbreeds. Pit Bull Terriers accounted for only 4% of the reported bites and ranked 9th on the list of identified breeds in terms of bites. The Toronto Humane Society issued a report recently on dog bites in the province of Ontario, concluding that since the ban was put in place, there has been no impact on the number of dog bites in the province.
We have seen in 2006 in the province of Ontario, the year of the BSL, we had 5,360 reported bites. The next year, full year with the BSL, it went up to 5,492. The year after, 5,463. So there's been no change in the number of bites here in Ontario. So how do we, and the government wants to know, how do we prevent the first bite? Prevent them overall. Take that Calgary model and implement a thoughtful education process.
Please note for the record that the Canadian Kennel Club supports the opinion of all the experts that breed-specific legislation does not work as a solution for safer communities in this province or anywhere else. We also believe that the passing of Bill 16, reversing current legislation, will correct the serious legislative flaw that banned under the current definition of a pit bull 3 pure breeds and untold numbers of generic, randomly bred, mixed breed dogs also caught within the current laws. The Canadian Kennel Club respectfully requests that you vote to support change through your support of Private Member Bill 16. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you for your presentation. The third party now has 5 minutes for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to first start out by thanking you for your presentation and all the good work that you do, but also correcting something that was erroneously put into the record by Mr. Michael Coteau. And I wanted to point him to a piece of paper that we've already received from the Ontario Veterinary Medical Association. The American Veterinary Medical Association opposes all breed-specific legislation. That is their official stance. There was a piece read out of the American Veterinary Association, which was read erroneously, and we can go into the details of that after, but their official stance is anti-breed specific legislation. I want to make that very, very clear. In fact, every veterinarian association that we have here listed, if you look at the OVMA's second page, you'll see every single one listed there. To get back to points, I've got 5 minutes, sorry, to get back to the point made by our deputant here, and it's a very important point. There are only 113 dogs that are actually could be called pit bulls in the province of Ontario. Can I repeat that?
Under the current definition of pit bull. They are not pit bulls.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so 113 purebreds. Every other dog, and so 1,000 have been euthanized that we know of, every other dog that has been targeted out there is a mixed breed. They could be more Labrador than anything else. And you would have to do, I'm sure, DNA testing to discover exactly what the mix is. The reality is that it's just the way a dog looks. It has nothing to do with their breed. So even if that description of a breed were correct, it would still be irrelevant. Michael, are you listening to this? It would still be irrelevant, even if that description were correct, because we're dealing with mixed breed dogs.
Bringing forth this bill, Bill 16, is an opportunity for us to begin to actually think about dog attacks. Right? The Bill 132, the original breed-specific legislation, took away the opportunity for us to think. Now, I heard both Michael Coteau and Mr. Bernetti talking about other models. We haven't had that opportunity to think about other models in this province because there was no need to think. We just banned pit bulls. We no longer required or needed to think. That corollary of zero tolerance is zero thinking. Right? We had a zero tolerance policy for pit bulls, a zero thinking policy politically. And really, what we've heard from all the evidence is that although legislation is good and proper to solve many of society's ills, it can't solve all of society's ills, and education is a far greater effective tool to prevent or to solve some of society's ills other than just legislation. And just again, to put this into context and perspective for all members of this committee, had we introduced a model along the lines of the Calgary model back in 2006, instead of this banned thinking approach, instead of 1,000 dog bites a year in Toronto, if we implemented the Calgary model and had similar effects, we would have reduced about 800 dog bites each and every year. Well, this is now the time for us to think about other things other than headlines when we develop public policy, and I truly hope that that is what we achieve at the end of the day with this. Thank you very much.